It took me about 7 years from the time I got licensed to now to me actually actively pursuing a career in real estate. My name is Ajla James. I am a newer agent in the Metro Atlanta area, and I currently work under Keller Williams. So I took a lot of detours and a lot of time just to figure out what it is that I really want to do. I actually got my license back when I was around 19 years old, shortly after high school, but in between I did like a lot of different things and like pursued a lot of different career paths. If I can be completely honest with you guys, I genuinely wish I would have pursued real estate when I initially got licensed. I was a lot younger. I didn't have a whole lot of bills or responsibilities. I didn't have all these learned insecurities or things like that holding me back. But this is just my path and how I got started and where I am now. And I'm also going to talk about what I think helped me pass my test on the first try. So you may have heard that real estate is one of those glamorous careers, like people only do it for the money or the attention or because it's easy. I don't know where they hear that it's easy from, but apparently people think it's easy. I've heard that a lot of people who do real estate, this is like their last resort. Like they've tried everything else and they failed, so I think they're gonna jump into real estate. Ever since I was a kid, I've literally been like obsessed with everything real estate related. So when I was younger, I want to say late elementary school, early middle school, every Sunday morning I would run outside, grab our Sunday paper, and I would pull out the homes for sale in Arkansas. I don't know what it was at such a young age, but I was just like in awe of like the homes. I like looking at like the bedrooms, the bathrooms, the square footage, the price. I love looking at the pictures. Then I ventured into watching things like HGTV, DIY Network. Unfortunately, I didn't have anybody in my family that worked in real estate that I could actually shadow or have showed me the ropes. So these are just like interests that I had as a kid. What you see on like HGTV and stuff, like house hunters and stuff, that is not how real estate works. I wish it was that easy, but it's just not. I was low-key obsessed with the Sims games. Like I wouldn't even play it like that. I would just buy the games to like build the houses. I would buy the, all the extra stuff to help decorate. Looking back on it now, clearly I needed to be in this field, but I'm gonna talk about that because I definitely took detours and did a bunch of. I'm really talking about this because I think that a lot of the things that I did outside of real estate actually helped me be the realtor that I am today. That's one thing that my coaches always tell me. They say that no matter what your background is or like your employment history and stuff like that, everything you have done in your professional life contributes to who you are as a realtor today, and it can help you if you wanted to. So right out of high school, I joined the military. It was short-lived. I was in the Army National Guard. I did that about 2 years. After I did my basic training and got back to my unit and stuff and got settled, I went to college. I went to Howard University in DC for literally 1 semester. I studied architecture, which I absolutely loved. So I left because I had this plan. I wanted to graduate with a degree in architecture, get on an ROTC scholarship, and become an officer by the time I graduated. I didn't have a whole lot of scholarships. It's a private school and it was out of state, so my GI Bill didn't cover the whole cost, so I was coming out of pocket for a lot of this stuff. I quickly learned that I did not like ROTC. I had no desire to be in the military long term, and I was not paying for Howard University out of pocket. Like there was just no way. So it was fun, but it was short-lived. I moved on. At this point, I'm 19 years old. I come back to Arkansas to pursue my real estate license. Got my license, passed on the first try. I passed the main portion on the first try. I failed the law portion. I had to take that twice. Long story short, I ended up missing a day of class, and I guess that was the day that they went over the law portion. But when I went to go make it up with another teacher, they didn't go over law that day. So I failed it, and I was kind of surprised because I was like, I literally recognized everything on the test except for the law portion. And I was like, I don't ever recall us going over this. But I went home, found this little pamphlet that was at the back of my school book, and lo and behold, it was the law portion. Read over it, took the test again, passed, flying colors, no problem. As soon as I passed my exam, I started looking at brokers. I can't even say I started looking at brokers. I went to one broker, Keller Williams. I fell in love. They liked me, I liked them. They said they wanted me to join their team. So I was looking at the fees and stuff. Keep in mind, I'm 19 years old. I don't know any better. I couldn't really afford it at the time. It was like $3,000 for everything total, like complete startup cost, $2,000 or $3,000 complete startup cost. That's including the board fees, signs, name tag, all of that stuff, the whole shebang. So what did I do? I got a job. I started working, and I got another job, and I kept working. Real estate literally fell by the wayside, and I didn't think about it anymore. So after that, I ended up going back to school for business. I got like a year and a half in, and then for whatever reason, I decided to have like a 20-year-old midlife crisis. I know this is unheard of, but I definitely had one of those. Dropped everything, moved to Wisconsin, and started completely over. And I know I'm having like a pattern here where I seem to like start things and not complete them. And that's very valid, unfortunately, but I'm working on it. So at this point, I'm in Wisconsin. I start pursuing cosmetology. Working in a salon really taught me how to talk to people as well as selling. So I want to say that's mainly where my sales background comes from and why I'm somewhat comfortable on the phone with people. It's like you're doing someone's hair, a big part of it is having like personality. So I'm constantly talking to people. Cosmetology school, in a salon behind a chair, selling myself on the street, trying to get clientele. So that really was my life for like a good year and a half. Then the pandemic hit. I left the salon, never went back. Had my second midlife crisis, dropped everything, moved to Georgia. So as I said earlier, I passed the main portion of my exam on the first try, flying colors. Took me 2 times to pass the law portion. My biggest advice would be to find a good school. I went to the National School of Real Estate. It was located on JFK Boulevard in North Little Rock. They have since changed owners and moved in. This was several years ago, so I'm not sure what their school is like now, but I didn't really look around at many schools. I came across this school and they had like a crazy success rate. I think it was like 90, so it was something crazy, like 98% or something. I looked on their website today and it does not say the actual percentage, but they do still claim to have a high pass rate. So I don't know. They have really good reviews too. That's my main thing. Go to a really good school. And if you can, like online classes are great, but if you can, go do it physically in person. That's one of my biggest things. Like I'm a pretty good learner. I'm a fast learner. I catch on to stuff pretty well. But when it comes to genuinely understanding things, I need to be face to face with somebody. And I say that because when you're in the classroom, ask questions. Like seriously, be that student that's annoying everybody else because you're asking so many questions. That's what they're there for. And 9 times out of 10, people who are teaching real estate, they've probably been doing it for 15, 20 years. Now, if you've already paid for the class and you're struggling to pass your test at this point and like going to a different school isn't an option, here are some tips that I usually use when it comes to like studying for stuff like this that I'm having trouble with. First things first, do not be discouraged about this exam. The real estate exam is not the job. Like if you keep failing this test and you starting to think that maybe real estate isn't for me, I can't even pass the test, I probably won't even be good at the job. It's not the same thing. It's not. The real estate exam is like, I want to say common knowledge and vocabulary, which is good, but at the end of the day, you are going to learn so much stuff when you're actually in the job. Make sure you know your vocabulary. So when I'm studying for something, I usually go to like the chapter. 9 times out of 10, there's like an outline or something, or like the objectives or what you're going to learn. I take each objective and like try to thoroughly understand what that objective means, if that makes sense. You don't do anything else, know the vocabulary, like know the terminology and stuff like that. It's like the easiest points on the test. Most states usually have like a practice exam that you can pay for, and a lot of times the school itself will have exams too. I would try to find like the actual state practice exam by a reputable company. Practice tests, practice exams, practice tests, practice exams. I always read the reviews, see what worked for other people, see what didn't work for other people, and go from there. This has to be the most important tip I can think of. Do not cram. Do not try to stuff it all in at one time. It's not going to work. It never works. I don't know the exact science behind it, but I'm pretty sure it's scientifically proven that if you study for a couple hours over, say, the course of a couple weeks, like study every night for a couple hours over the course of a couple weeks, you're more likely to retain the information versus trying to cram everything in there the night before, the week before the test. Comment below to tell me what kind of videos that you guys want to see. I plan on doing more cold calling videos. Like, that's really what I want my main channel to be. Just me really navigating the whole real estate path. I just thought that I should introduce myself, give you guys a little backstory on how I got here. So feel free to ask me any questions, especially now while my YouTube channel is small and I have time to actually answer stuff. But yeah, feel free, comment, like, subscribe. You know the gist. Thanks for watching.